The black man is God. I'm thankful, black woman, for taking care of me. Thank you, black woman. You are my mother, aren't you? My mother spoils me. I'm a big boy spoiled baby. The black woman spoils me. Look.
I really don't know
the black woman spoils me.
because he could have started moving this morning. We don't know.
The black woman spoils me. Yeah.
I have no idea.
We need to go and tell everybody look how the black woman spoils her man. Because her man is her son. And she loves her son, so she loves her man. Pyramid.
What's up, you guys? As you come on in, I'm playing a video. I'm playing the videos so people can come in.
The Chinese man ain't even got it like this. He got to work hard, but the black man is God. Come on, baby. The black man is God. The black man is God. Oh, excuse me. The black man is God. Let the king go by. Go ahead, king. No, you go, king. Respect to the black man. The black man is God.
The black man is God.
Here you go. Here you go. And look at his mama. And that's his mother.
All right, you guys. I am using Restream today, so I have no clue what the heck I'm doing. I really just don't. I can't even see my comments. Let me see. Okay, maybe this is it. Chat. Okay. I'm going to type something. And if you're there, you go. Hey, Ivy, what's up, mamas? So it says host. Okay. All right. As you can see, I am just learning how to navigate this. Hey, Morbeer. How was work today? How was work today, y'all? How was work? I was going to try and go live earlier, but I had to go to my little so-called work, and it just was going to be just too tight for me to do the things that I wanted to do. So I'm here tonight. Welcome. Sweet my hey, how are you? Okay. Y'all tell me what y'all want to do today. Because I want to are you driving? Okay. I'm listening, not going anywhere. Nowhere. Okay. So y'all tell me what y'all want to do tonight, because I want to have a open panel or discussion. Hey Sonic, how are you? I want to have an open discussion, open panel. Really, I do. Y'all know I like to break things down. But the latest videos were so destructive. I really want to talk about I just want to talk about it. How do you feel? I know I'm not going to have a large crowd today because of that, and I understand that and I accept that. Oh, thank you, sweet ma. Thank you. Listen, let me tell you. I like to focus on what I'm going to say and prepare. And I always feel like after the interview, damn, I wish I would have asked this. I wish I would have asked that. So that's good to hear that they were at least meaningful questions. Anyway, what y'all want to do, what y'all want to talk about, how y'all want to do this? How do y'all want to do this? Please let me know. Cause I just want to talk about it. Has anybody seen the latest videos or the latest clips or whatever? Has anybody seen it? Um, if y'all hear my baby in the background, she's supposed to be going to sleep. And if I have to step away, y'all know why. But what do y'all think? Has anybody seen these most recent videos of him, I guess, preparing them for going out, like once they leave the place that they no longer are able to stay? Because I want to show you a clip of a gentleman that he was in a cult as well. And I find it very, talk about embarrassing. Oh yes, more beer. This is the clip right here. Nosy's, I'm on Nosy's channel right now. And she has the clip of when they where that day they decided to go to the flea market, and he wants to pretend like he's some kind of pimp, and we all know he's not. In terms of swag, he doesn't have it. I'm sorry. I mean, he doesn't have it. He just doesn't. See, a lot of the women who went there went under the guise of getting some kind of knowledge. PIMPs, the women choose to some degree the life that they are living, but the male tries to, I guess, swindle the woman into believing that she needs him for assistance, right? Swag of a dusty. Yeah, Ivy, I was too triggered, honestly. Yeah. Rhonda, what's up? What's up? Oh, all my family's here today. Yes, I'm loving it. All my peoples is here tonight. So you know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna have a discussion. Are y'all down for that? The discussion is surrounds what let me tell y'all what I'm really thinking. So I was so triggered that I decided to start doing some research, trying to find out information that can get Baby Ja out of there. And I believe there are others who are actively trying to find ways to get Baby Ja out of there. I know there are people who believe that it's nothing we can do, really. And we should try to not get too emotionally involved. So I would love to hear what people have to say, what your thoughts are, and what your stance is in that regard. Lady D. Oh yeah, her name's Real Talk with Lady D, right? Yeah. Can I help her with her live? She don't know how it work. Is she here now? Tell her to wait. What do you mean? Rhonda, what you talking about? Is that what you was trying to email me about? I would love to help her. I love the content she produces. All right, I'm opening it. Everybody is welcome to come up. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. Everybody. All right, here we go. Oh, you want to know what I found? I can't tell you more, beer. Listen, I'm about to crack this case. I'm investing so much energy into this. I'm about to crack this case, okay? To and that's why I'm saying, am I doing too much? Am I doing too much, y'all? Am I doing too much? Cuz I am no longer just covering what is happening, dissecting what is going on. I'm no longer just talking to the people who have come from these situations and situations like this and encouraging women. I am actually doing, researching how I can get in contact with certain people. Am I doing too much? And Ivy knows me. Once I get started, I don't stop. I don't stop until I get some kind of answer. I don't stop until I get into contact with someone. Okay. And I don't want to see that baby there anymore. I don't. I don't. And you know what? I showed you guys of more beer. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I showed you guys a few videos ago the founder of deprogramming, right? And the founder of this of the origins of deprogramming was from an African American who wanted to help families, right? To get their kids, because this is right when it's just like now. I feel like nothing is new. Nothing's new. Everything is recycled. Even circumstances in life are recycled. More beers coming up. Okay, let's see. How can I add you? Oh Lord. Is she there? Did I add her? Oh, there you go. Hello.
Hey, I'm making sure I close my other
Give me
tab.
1 second. Can y'all hear her? More beer, can you talk to us so I can see if they can hear you?
Hold up.
Oh, there we go.
Hold up.
There we go.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Y'all hear
Talk
me?
to me, more beer.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I missed the last thing you said because I was trying to get onto the restream.
You said what?
I missed the last thing you said
Oh,
because I was trying to get on restream.
okay. Oh, I was just saying, I don't know if you remember if you were there, a few videos ago, I was showing a little bit of what reprogramming or deprogramming is, the founder of deprogramming,
Mm-hmm.
and let me read it. Let me see if I can go back to it. I forget what his name is already.
Like
It's a very
Ted or Fred.
right, Ted Theodore,
Yeah,
because his name was after Theodore Roosevelt. um
right.
so Ted is what they called him. um and what he would do is he realized the best way to help these individuals, because they're not going to leave themselves. And let me just say this right now, this is not what I plan on doing. But what he would do is, with the family members' consent, he would remove them without their permission, remove them from the cult, and then begin deprogramming them. But since we can't do that for legal purposes, do you think there is another way to get that child out of that space? Yes, please hit
Yes,
the button.
yes. There is, there's a few ways, I mean, there's several ways, you know, uh, the parents getting to the parents, getting them to get out. Um, with these cases or this case that's coming up, there's an opportunity for, more charges, you know what I'm saying, to be raised. And so kind of that way, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Indirectly, yeah.
How significant do you think it is for Janae um to show up at this court hearing? Do
Oh,
you
very essential.
do you think this will encourage others?
Yes and no. I don't know plural, because the thing with it, because this is a very traumatizing, scenario, with these people. And when they get out, they really need that time to not even not even deal with it or say none of the words, or, because just like it triggers us, you can only imagine, you know what I'm saying, what they go through. um, Especially the ones that have been gone, you know what I mean, for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, their disconnection, is on purpose, and so that would be rough, for me. Would want to, but like Velvet, I would want her, you know what I'm saying, to be a second person. Like those are big portions, you know what I'm saying, big portions of the wrongdoing, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
that could raise, the crucial points
Right.
of interest.
Mm.
So yeah, and I did a little research too, and I don't think he's doing too much, because it's not a good it's not a good situation. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look good. I don't know. I don't know if I believe what I believe. You know what I mean, over there, but it don't look good. It's not good. You know what I mean?
When you say you
So,
don't believe what you believe, are you saying, because this is what I heard. I don't know why. When you said that, the first thing I thought is,
hmm
are you saying you don't believe what you're seeing because it's so unbelievable?
girl, yeah, like it's like it is. It's unbelievable, and like I just don't believe things. I'm the person to be like, believe half of what you see, and even less of what you hear, however that goes, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
um and on top of that, just the level of ridiculousness, you know what I mean, that is being presented is just, it's unbelievable.
Mm,
It is, yeah,
I
very, very
agree.
unbelievable.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, Anybody is welcome to come up. Please share your thoughts. I have another question that I would like someone to. I want to have a dialogue. Thank you, more beer. Please stay up. Don't go nowhere.
Okay.
I would like to have a dialogue. My next question, and come up to share your thoughts.
Yeah,
Um,
come on, y'all. What y'all doing at work?
Everybody should be off. Y'all should be off, relaxing, chillaxing. Okay, Aunt Rhonda, Did she figure it out yet, Rhonda? I wish. See, I wish you would have. I'm gonna give you my IG. I'm gonna give you my IG. But and when you email me, I'll give you my IG. When
Exactly, Ivy.
Ivy said, what she say? I get why she would think that, but even if it is fake, it can have a bad influence on other people. Absolutely, absolutely. But
Yes.
so here's the thing, right? Um, if this can have a bad effect on a bad influence on people, how do we counteract the influence at this point? How do we counteract the influence? I truly believe in my heart that these are his last attempts before this, you know what, hits the fan.
Yeah.
Because he targeted the wrong group this time. He's being very belligerent to authority, and we know how that ends.
Yeah.
But what happens to the members? Do we allow what happened in, where was it, Ghana? Do we allow what happened in Jonestown to happen
Oh,
here?
because that's what he's lining up, with his rhetoric, and maybe that's what you were referring to earlier. Um, how you said he was programming them for the move.
Yes, he's training them. He's training them hard. He's
Yeah.
testing them, pushing them to their brink, breaking them down to their the lowest any human being can ever go, because he has to make sure that they are
Hmm.
willing to do, when I say anything, y'all all know what I mean, to do
Yes.
anything if it comes down
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. What's worse than reiterating? He's like, uh, double down. He's doubling down on the making them like repledge their oath, and in some sort of way.
Right. Sat says that he's going to Vegas. Is he? Is he? Is
That's what
he?
he said soon.
Is he?
But then
Will he make it?
he got the paperwork.
Right. Right.
Oh, Solar's there now, scoping it out. See, now that's what I've been thinking about. You know what I mean? You talking about the kid. I'm talking about just the whole business. You know what I'm saying? Because he's running it like a business. You know what I mean? Just the main heads of the business need to go, because everybody's a victim there. You know what I mean? However, some of them are doing more than others. You know what I mean?
Right.
To
Right.
maintain this.
It's gotten so, this has become so it's almost, I don't even know how to describe it at this point. It's no longer like, even people who thought it was entertaining in the beginning, I think are starting to um have a second opinion on how they feel about it, because
Mm.
here we have, and if you guys want to, please go check out the tea. She's live right now. She's showing a clip that and she has another clip from earlier today, of everyone standing in a circle, and or the female standing in a circle, and basically,
Yeah.
as a form of intimidation, to break who none other than Tanisha down,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because she is
Even
showing.
closer, like they being even more closer.
Right. Right. when
Yeah.
when do you say, you know what, this can't go on, I need to reach out directly? When does that become, when do we do that? Okay, so what's her name? Nosy Bish, y'all know she's my boo. Nosy
Mm-hmm.
lives in New York, and there was a situation that happened in New York, a mass shooting, um and a lot of people got injured, a lot of people, and most people did nothing to help the injured.
Mm.
Are we becoming desensitized to helping others?
Mm. No, because I think our concerns, we're you bring us up here, you come on, you know what I mean, we speak about it, we try to figure out, ways to intervene, even when it would seem that, the people that's being abused, you know what I mean, uh, they don't see it, or they feel like it's some rite of passage, you
Right.
know? And so that's hard, that's the rough portion, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do in that situation,
Right.
where somebody that you don't know, you only see them, you know what I mean? Like, you only see them there. So that's what I've been thinking, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of sadistic shit is this? Excuse my friend. You know what I mean? Like, it is, they're not calling it that, but people pay good money for that sort of treatment. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. I want to show a clip.
So
Go ahead, keep talking.
yeah. Oh well. Oh, you gonna start that? Yeah. So it's like, is do people have that sort of, like, or what is it called? When when some people like to be spanked and some treated like a child, or whatever sort of play, some sort of sexual play, kind of thing.
Yeah.
um like, how many of them suffer, from that, or not suffer, how many engage in that, and how many are other or various, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's rough. But I sure I've thought about, some sort of group of people, going down to address, you know what I mean, the situation in some form of fashion. But how many? That speaks to your question. Are we not equipped? People care.
Mm.
Are we? Are who's equipped to do that?
Wow, you brought up a good point. We're not equipped. We are
Yeah.
not equipped to handle these types of situations,
Hmm.
even though they
Hmm.
keep reoccurring. What's up, Ivy? How are you? Your thoughts?
Hey, beautiful. How are you doing? I just want to say hi. And I also want to give Morbell a shout out. I want everybody to know she's a beautiful artist and y'all need to check that out. Even though she didn't say
Oh,
hi to me.
girls,
So I'm going to give you a shout out anyway. It's all
I'm
good. Okay. Still love you.
we're at fan
Anyway,
page.
anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, so this is how I feel. I used to go to domestic violence shelter to talk about my abuse, my story of about abuse, right? And to encourage the women in the domestic violence shelter out in New York, uh, several years ago. That's part of my past. But there's a common theme that they all shared is this, and I can also speak for myself. Nobody can come in and do absolutely anything until sometimes we're ready for someone to help us. And part of the illusion or the delusion that we adopt with these narcissists is we believe the story they tell us. We believe in the value story. We believe we cannot get out there and survive in that world without them. So it's not until a different level of consciousness creeps in, the voice that we hear that says, this is not right, I deserve better than this, is when most of these women get out of these situations. Now, nobody can tell anybody when that voice comes in. Some people last in these domestic violence relationships 10, 20 years, 30 years, depending on the person.
A
And some may not
lifetime.
be able, a lifetime, and some may not be able to take that abuse a year, right? It's really a matter of, it's a matter of will. It's a matter how strong you are. Um, it's not to say these people are weak people, but I think that, everybody knows a little bit about a narcissist. The question is, how much do we know about codependency? right? How much do we know about the type of people or what's going on the mind of the victim, not the predator, because we can speak about predators all day long. But we have to start speaking about the conditioning of the people who are getting in this situation and what's really going on with them psychologically, right? And what made them vulnerable to this type of person. And until we come up, have that really deep discussion, we're going to be running around the bush trying to figure out ways to snatch these people away from this man. And all you're going to do is you glorify him. He becomes a martyr, right? They think of him even more as a god when people come in and start mixing and mingling and trying to get them to get out of those situations. I just wanted to say that. Because this is part of their mindset right now. The brainwash is already implemented, and there's nothing anybody can actually do. How many times have we seen these cops go over to the house? How many people have called, got his address, and sent cops over to the house, check on the baby, do welfare checks on the women? Absolutely nothing can be done if they can't prove that the child is actually being abused physically. If they don't see physical abuse, it's not actually illegal for him to have a bunch of people cohabitating under one roof, right? And needless to say, he never put on camera that anybody was abusing his child. So he gets away with these things because he just knows how to push the envelope. He knows what he can and can't do criminally and what he can't get away with. Most narcissists do. They always skate the thin line of criminal activity right before they actually commit a crime. They're able to weasel themselves out of these situations. Just wanted to point that out.
And before I introduce Genesis, I also want to say that when they finally do commit a crime, it's very heinous. It's something that they can't get out of at all. But it's very heinous. And so that's what I'm afraid of right now, just as someone watching this unfold. I want to say hello to Genesis. Welcome.
Hi, Genesis.
Hello. I'm sorry, I might have like some background noise with my daughter sometimes. She's 4, but I have been. It's been hard to watch.
Hold on. Okay, I have 4 crazy kids, 3 of which are under the age of 5. You don't never have to apologize for your children on this channel.
Wonderful.
Okay, go ahead.
So she might interrupt every once in a while. So I'm trying to go outside so I can talk freely. But it seems to me like he has found like the fine line. He knows like what he can get away with. And he's treading that line. He knows, okay, yeah. I'm not sure if you've seen the last video where he had Zoka slap Malia. Have anybody seen that one on the T?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have not. So I saw the video. I was actually in the live right when it started, but for some reason, I honestly got a little, I don't know, something inside of me turned it off. Once I realized that it might be coming up, it was almost like a horror movie when you know the bad thing is about to happen, and so you kind of look away.
Yeah. So it seems to me like what he does, he thinks that if he says you can leave, right, and then he lets the women do the abusing. He lets the other chicks do the abusing. He always says you can leave, and then he shows that they're not leaving, and then he lets the other women handle some of the the physical stuff. So if anybody gets in trouble, it'll be the women around him for attacking each other. Correct. And they'll take the fall for him. So he himself don't get in trouble. It'll be Zoka and for what's her name, Flu or whatever. But I've been in a situation like that before. I've actually been in a situation with a man that was the same way, and he had a white chick that was, would stand at the door with a knife. You know what I'm saying? and I wouldn't be able to get out. I was afraid to leave because she was so head over heels for him that she would stab me. I believe I'll try to like leave, that where we were at. I believe that she would actually stab me with a knife. So I think that it's like all the people that are around him are willing to do anything and will probably attack. So it's almost like a fear that's being generated because everybody there is so brainwashed that they will do his bidding. So I think it's a mixture of fear and the programming that he has on the people that's around him so tough that people that have been there long enough are afraid of just even the people around and what they're capable of if they step out of line.
What are your thoughts on the people?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on the people who are no longer in the group but won't speak out?
I think that they're like still believing in the knowledge and all that crap like that. They're still like, oh, the knowledge, and I'm like, please, man, if y'all will quit with that knowledge crap. What knowledge? I mean, come on. What knowledge is he giving? And ain't in no book that you go on YouTube that you can get. He bring they all gonna say, well, he did bring me the knowledge. And I guess because they're younger, they probably haven't watched Dr. Clark or Dr. Yosef Ben Yochanan or watched all these like scholars like I have and like other people probably. But I'm like, man, he is not saying anything that you can't find on any other platform that's I mean, come on. Hell, TikTok is giving more knowledge right now than he's giving. And they're just so wrapped up in this so-called, it ain't no knowledge being given there. Now he's saying he's a pimp. He's talking about he's a pimp now. He done switched from being the knowledge bringer to the pimp slapper. Now he's a pimp, and he's showing like signs of complete schizophrenia. And I believe that they're probably going crazy too. And I also believe that whoever that guy is with the red dreads that keeps bringing that weed over, I don't know if that dude is mixing something in with that weed, but there's a guy that he gets his weed from that's from Atlanta or whatever. That
he's Soul's Poppy.
Yeah, I don't know what he got in that weed, but honey, he is getting the top premium. He might be mixing that shit with some salvia or something because that stuff got him on a whole nother level of acting like a fool. So I think it's that weed because they're all high the whole time. Once they started like really being out with the weed thing, everybody there is high as a kite. So they're just like in like a cloud of like high and drugs and everything and sex and everything. It's like a illusion, like like he has a spell over them. And it's just sad. Yeah. Now there's a white guy there. I'm like, who is this white guy? And he incorporated now a white dude. He just testing his limits. He's seeing how far he can go. How far can I go with this whole thing? And like I said, I believe because like young Pharaoh, it seems like all those like people like that, they get really up to a certain level. And I think that whatever level of weed they like get to smoking be so high that they get to losing their mind. Because young Pharaoh got up to that level, really like well known, and was in Atlanta. And I think he came down to Texas or whatever and got a hold of some weed and started tripping out. And then you got like what's his name? Polite. Got real high up, in the whole situation. He started, dibbling, dabbling, and I believe it's got something to do with that. Whatever strain of weed that I think that when they get to a certain level, somebody give them this weed. And
how many of you guys in the comments think that it's the marijuana, or how many of you think that it is his schizophrenia or whatever mental illness that he possibly has?
I think the weed is triggering that schizophrenia. I think when you get to them high levels of that purple tronic, whatever the high levels, like with the high THC, it triggers whatever mental illness you got. It triggers it.
I don't believe that it's schizophrenia. I believe that this is how he deals with a person that how he goes into his Denzel, then it's DMX, then it's it's always some kind of movie character actor, you know what I mean? I think this is how his, I think this is his personality. You know what I mean? Just a fraud, just a Bama. You know what I'm saying? He's been a Bama. Like everything he's done, he has faked it. You know, faked it until he made it. Ever
The only
since he
reason
come
why I
out.
would say that it might be that is because you see other people, like I said, young Pharaoh, right,
Hmm.
doing the same thing at one point. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Now
Only
I
thing is,
don't.
he broadcast everything in his whole life, but I'm sure he was acting the same way with the,
Now
you know.
I believe he just takes on other people's personalities. I guess that's my point. But in no way am I saying that I don't think the weed doesn't, perpetuate further delusions. You know what I'm saying? He is delusional. You know what I'm saying? And megalomaniacal. He's a megalomaniac, narc, total narc. You know what I'm saying? Like gaslighting is his number one thing. You know what I mean? Word salad, just
Martha, you
talking in
are a
circles.
mess.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, listen. Okay. Okay, she's saying she smokes weed and it doesn't do that to her. But I'm saying if you already have like narcissistic and like psychotic traits, and these people are
Hmm.
really highly intelligent. They do have. I would say they do have a lot of intelligence about them. You know what I'm saying? And if they start abusing drugs like that, I think it'll make them click, like actually like click off, and now they're like more like insane than they probably already were. So I think if you already have a propensity towards like being like a psychotic and you smoke weed, it'll enhance whatever that situation is.
I'd love to hear what Ivy has to
I can
say.
agree.
Uh, I agree with both ladies. It's a combination of both. You have to realize with the grandiose narcissists, they do have the fake it till you make it component, right? So they will do just about anything to make it. They'll take on different personalities, whatever will get them noticed. And he will continue to do that until he does get noticed by more and more people. It's really about the supply for him. Supply meaning views, supply meaning people. That's his first love. His first love is the audience. And secondly, he does have a component of schizophrenia, because the levels of his personality and how it switches. Like there's really no glass ceiling to where he would take it, right? When you think about how he will even have the women abusing each other on camera and how he will go into verbally abusing them as well. Um, all of that is part of the schizophrenia. When you think about how the narcissist flips and they get mortified by the situation, if they can't hold on to their emotions are always out of whack, right? So they have these things where these ideas spiral into their head, and then they'll think, well, you are against me. Listen to his splitting always happens in this form. It's like them versus us, we versus them, right? Me versus you. It's always a
Hmm.
splitting involved. It's always going to
Yes.
be a splitting in every single conversation. Evil versus good. I am good, you are evil. So he's always going to find somebody in the room to be that scapegoat. It's always going to be someone he abuses, always somebody he's going to verbally abuse. The thing about it with Nature Boy is he had all of this already in him. The only thing is when you get people who enable you, it just encourages you to be more, it
Yes.
encourages him to be more and more demonic. I want people to realize he's just as surprised as all of us that he has this kind of control over these people. I want people to realize it. That's
Yep.
why
Yep.
that's why he's so excited. That's why he goes out in public with the girls and he wants them to do these up downs in public so he can show all these people, look, I got all of these people praising me. It's like a 14-year-old boy with a Ferrari, right? It's a 14, he gonna drive it, right? But pretty soon it's gonna
Hmm.
crash and burn. He don't know what to do with this power. So when you get a bunch of, even if one narcissist have one enabling spirit in his life, that will encourage him to be such a big asshole to a lot of people, right? So now this man man don't just have one enabling spirit. He got several. He got multiple, right? So to him, he's on top of the world. There's nothing that can take him down from this. Whether he have supply or not, from a lot of viewers, he at the very least, he got multiple people in his household who praise him like he is a god, and that's all that matters to him at the end of the day. And that's what matters to any grandiose narcissist at the end of the day. And they don't have their own personality. They are void of true personality. Nobody ever knows the real nature of the narcissist. He got this thing now where he's going around saying outstanding. Well, I can recall hearing that on there was this guy. His name is Jesse. I think he's a black Republican. He's a horrible person. He loves Donald Trump. And he goes around saying outstanding, outstanding. Like this, if you ever really pay attention to some of his words,
he says amazing.
He says amazing. Yes,
it's
amazing.
a video game. They got that from a video game.
Right.
Outstanding is a video game. I think it's for like Mortal Kombat. Outstanding.
It might even be from that. So
really good, it'll be like outstanding. I'm not sure it's Mortal Kombat or one, but like a demonic kind of voice, be like outstanding. You know, when you're
but it's still mocking. He's still mocking something.
He's still mocking. They take pieces of other people's. They take other people's of creativity and they use it for themselves. This knowledge that he had is somebody else's knowledge. Some of his characteristics are other people's characteristics. He will never have no true creativity. You just have to pay attention and watch, and even the slightest things, you'll be like, oh, I've seen that before, but where did I see it? And then just do a little research and you'll find that somebody else did it before him. But that's what most narcissists do. If you meet a narcissist in public and become their friend and you tell them you have this great idea, they're going to take your idea and they're going to run off in the hills and they're going to take it from you. That's what all narcissists do. It just is what it is. It is what it is.
I had that happen to me. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
And another thing, have you guys noticed that, you know, when Nateri was there, right? Everybody was like, I mean, they had copper on. I mean, they look, all the women look beautiful, right? They had on all the like paint and this, that, the other. But once Nateri left, now they're all in black and no, like all that like makeup and beautification they had before is gone. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So one thing about how they dress, it's always going to change. We know that it's always going to change because his vision of what he wants will change. Like you guys were already saying, based upon who and what he watches. So you might see them in dark clothing today. When they go to Vegas, they might wear something else. Just that part of this whole debacle. Don't be surprised or you know, think that they're sticking to this one thing because Nateri left. At one other point, they were wearing a quote unquote uniform, if you will, when they were
like
in
that baseball uniform.
Right. So it'll change. It'll always change. At one point, they were wearing all white. They were supposed to wear all white. So that part, don't be surprised. I do want to play a video for you guys because this is a person. See, when we think about Eligio, we know he is not the only cult leader who existed, not the only person who is being worshipped and followed, and he's definitely not the most dangerous. But here is somebody from someone who used to be in a cult. I just want you to hear what he has to say a little bit about this, okay, you guys? And we can discuss that. Please don't go anywhere, y'all.
Let's get it.
When the children, you need help.
Before I start, let me see if I can remember his channel name. Where is it? His name is Khalil Amani. Khalil Amani's World. Please subscribe to his channel if you want to know more about his story, his journey. He was also a stripper, and he'll mention that he was also an exotic dancer before joining the Nuwapians or whatever they call themselves. Not the Nuwapians. I forgot what it was called, but Yahweh Ben Yahweh's group.
Oh, the Hebrew, the Israelites that went over to Israel.
Yes, the Hebrew Israelites, I think it is.
help. I'm talking about the grown children. When the grown children need help, that's what grandparents are for. Come on home, regroup, resituate, and get on back out there and get your own place. Okay, fine enough. But we're talking about cults. C-U-L-T-S, cults. And some people wonder why my cult experience, my cult story is still in the news. For I have told my cult story on 6, now 7 mediums. I first told my cult story way back in 1988 on a show called West 57th Street. It came on the CBS network in prime time on Saturday night, right after Cops. And there is a YouTube clip of that 1988 interview, my first. I had a Jerry curl and everything working. By the definition of cult, all religions are cults. Because the first definition of a cult is a system, what does it say? A system or community of religious worship and ritual. Is that not what the Christians do? Is that not what the Muslims do? Is that not what Jews do? They have a system or community of religious worship and ritual. Is that not what the Hebrews and the Israelites do? So by the very definition of the word cult in American Heritage Dictionary, all of us are in cults that believe in some system of worship. But when we hear the word cult, we don't think of cult as being I'm a Baptist, I'm in a cult. I'm a Methodist, I'm in a cult. I'm an AME, I'm a Muslim, I'm in a cult. But the second definition is the more truer definition when we use the word cult. And that definition is a religion or religious sect generally considered to be extremist or bogus. In other words, you can have a faith and be a Christian or Muslim or a Jew and act like you're a regular citizen in the world and just, you just living your life, you have a faith. But when your religion becomes extremist, that's when we know we're talking about what a cult is. Extremist, meaning far right views or far left views. Views that are not in the center. Views that are not centric in society. And so when you start a religious belief, it remains a cult until it gains mainstream acceptance. That's generally one of the definitions of the word cult. Peaceful death. Or should I say, a crazy death, because I understand that people started salivating and slobbing at the mouth and choking on their own vomit. Look at this brother right here. Yeah. This is why cults are dangerous. This is why cults are destructive. You got to understand that the end result for a lot of these cults is death.
I'm gonna play a little bit more, but I wanted to show y'all that for to kind of talk about the last sentence he said. When we think about carbonation, he said the end result of all of these cults is death. Your thoughts?
Well, I know one thing. He's talking about June 5th or something like that. So I don't know. It sounds like he's trying to like kind of create some kind of like, I don't know. He's saying on June 5th something about to happen. I don't know.
Maybe I should play it a little more because um um this this individual right here who what was his name again? I think it's Armani. He talks about ascension, how a lot of these cult leaders promise their followers that they're going to go to this higher place, and that is how they trick them into whatever it is they're doing, to essentially committing suicide. um I don't know, maybe I'll play it later, but I just want to hear what you guys think so far.
Can I also say this, that I'm not sure if you guys realize this, but see, a lot of people are thinking that these people are doing a lot of this stuff on their free will, the people that are there. But do you guys realize that if I talk to you for 24 hours, no sleep, you know, and the only thing you hear is my voice, you're not allowed to talk, ask a question, anything. You know what I'm saying? That I can brainwash you, because the brain can only absorb a certain amount of information before it actually begins to go into like almost a zeta, like a almost like a trance. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
You can if I said about 100 words to you in 1 minute, your mind, you would zone out. And then at that point, I'm not even speaking to you. I'm speaking to your subconscious mind. So what I'm hearing, what he's doing is he's employing a lot of like tactics where he's sitting there talking to people at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're sleep deprived, and their brain is not even able to function at this point. And all he's doing is just talking and talking and talking and talking, to where they're not even thinking their own mind anymore. Only thing they're probably hearing in their mind is his voice. So they pretty much are a shell of a person. They're gonna need a lot of. So it's like these people that are laying in this situation, that are passed away and this, that, the other. It's because that I'm sure that they were sleep deprived, like hearing these guys preaching all day and all night, being programmed into the same repetitive way of thinking, to the point where they didn't even think for themselves anymore. They only heard Jim Jones's voice in their mind. They didn't even hear their own subconscious even talking to them anymore. They only heard his voice. So when he say, okay, take the pill, take this, take that, eat this or whatever, drink this, they damn near are robots. And this is like with MK Ultra and all types of like CIA. This is like CIA and like Hitler level programming that I'm not sure if Natureboy done read a bunch of books on how to program people, or if it's like a natural thing with narcissists on they just know how to do this, to be able to sit there and just not sleep, or just insanity, that he himself is so crazy that he's not sleeping, and they're following him, and he's up all night talking and demanding that they listen, to the point where they can't even think for themselves anymore. And now he can command them to do whatever, because now he has control of their mind. He has their mind. And pimps do this with prostitutes. I mean, it just happens all the time in different levels of like, programming, even in the military. I was in the military, right? They sleep deprive you. They wake you up. They, all type of stuff. The first 24 hours of boot camp is them basically depriving you of sleep, and then hollering and screaming at you for hours on end, and to the point where you don't know up from down, left from right. And then it's boot camp where they train you, and you don't hear nothing but the TI's voice or whatever is telling you to do this, that, the other, and you just do it willingly, without thought, because that's what they told you to do.
That's right. So for anyone who thinks that they put themselves in this situation, they can get out when they want to, I challenge you to listen to me for 7 days straight, nonstop. Just listen to me, no one else. I will talk to you, or I will give you something to listen to, my voice, and I will command you to do all these crazy things.
You can go to sleep.
You can't sleep. I tell you when to eat. And if you don't follow what I'm telling you to do, you will be in trouble. I will take something away. in your mind. Okay, so if you think that it's not real, try it.
So a lot of times we get mad at them. Like, when are they? They're just doing. He has a bunch of yes men around him. Well, honey, they're not. Yeah, they're programmed at this point, because think about this. A person like I, who have been there for 3 years, she's heard nothing but his voice for 3 years. Because what's his name? Solar ain't saying nothing. True ain't saying nothing. All you hear is him constantly. Nothing else but him.
More beer. What do you think? Oh, did she disappear on us?
No, I was muted. What do I think? Which part, girl? Because I believe, yes, he is training them to jump out there, and he essentially he's training them clearly, to do whatever he says. But I think it's going to be one of those moments like when they were on the bus and wherever, Costa Rica or something like that, and he was yelling in the back of the bus, no, we ain't going down, we ain't going down. You know what I'm saying? Get everybody riled up to jump in front of him while he's screaming, oh, I love you, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he the big raw type of mug, and he'll send them out, you know what I'm saying, in front of what's his karma. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what he's doing, training them to take his karma, and so he can get away with it. But it's not really going to work out that way. I'm looking away from what's on the screen because we don't know these people and what they capable of. You know what I'm saying? But it's clear to me that that he's training them to jump in front of whatever's coming to him.
Do you think he's preparing them, Ivy, to take the fall for him so that he doesn't end up incarcerated, but they will be?
Well, that's a good question. Let me start by saying that the beautiful young lady made a very good point about whether he's reading books to condition them or whether it's instinctual. But so I want to piggyback off of that. Most narcissists are not, a lot of them, they're not very educated. So a lot of what they do is instinctual. My ex-husband was very much, yeah, that is scary to know. My ex-husband was very much a nature boy, and I promise you, he didn't read a book in his life and didn't know how to spell either. Okay, and he had an instinct. Let's go back. Let me kind of give you an example so people understand. When the narcissists have a parasitic nature, it's a parasite. They attach to hosts. Now I'm gonna get real deep on this. They attach to hosts, they attach to people. Supply is the need for them to continue to thrive in the world. So they need your energy, they need your ear, they need your mind in order for them to continue to live and continue to breathe, in a sense, right? Spiritually. So when you think of nature, I was watching a show the other day. I have to bring this
empty vessels. They're empty vessels, really. They are empty.
I have to bring this up because I was watching a nature show the other day. I like to watch birds and stuff. Now, there's this bird, it's called a cowbird, right? And it's a parasitic cowbird, which means they don't build their own nest. They go around and they go around and dump their eggs in other birds' nests, right? And when that cowbird hatches, the cowbird hatches faster than the other eggs. And when it hatches, its instinct is to push and kill the other birds in the nest. And the new mother bird, don't even know that's not her egg. And then that bird gets extremely large. So now all of her other birds are dead. She didn't know what happened to them, and she's frantically feeding this cowbird. The cowbird is hungry, like thirst is insatiable, and she keeps feeding it, and she's driving herself crazy, sometimes close to death, to feed this cowbird. And then this cowbird off it goes, and it flies off, and it does the same thing to other birds when it's ready to fertilize, right? And when I looked at that, I said, wow, that's very much the narcissistic nature. When that bird hatches, it's a baby. It don't have an instinct. It don't know. It has an instinct. It don't know what it's doing. All it knows is that its instinct is to just push the other birds out of the nest and kill it. And so they call it a parasite. And that's no different than a narcissist. They don't read up on these things. It's just their instinct to do so. So no, I don't think he thinks far ahead enough to think that other people is going to take a fall for him. All he knows is that he's thinking in the moment. He thinks in the moment, and he has an opportunistic nature. So whatever he does to get noticed in that moment, he's just going to do it, right? And when the law comes, be as it may, he's going to feel like he's going to use his charisma, or then he's going to use other people. Other people's going to feed him enough law information for him to weasel himself out of those situations. Most narcissists need a lot of smart people around them to help educate them. Don't be surprised if all of these characteristics or this knowledge is fed to him by other people in the camp, right? So they're not very smart people. It's just that their instinct is to find a host and to almost kill you. Almost kill you. So like that guy was saying in the movie,
to drain you of
yes,
all life.
yes. Like
And
he said,
Solar is the one who does most of the research. Solar and True, those are the two of the researchers in the group. But let them tell it. He's giving the knowledge.
But remember, if you listen to some previous members, one of them in particular was who we know as Tron. That is not his real name. His new name is Hugh or Who. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he stated that when new members come, an existing member trains them. It's somebody is teaching him, because I don't think this part is he knows himself. Maybe he had experience, or maybe someone told him to do this. But when he brings new people in, he trains them just in case another member decides to leave. So
Yes, okay.
Logan is his real name. Logan trained the people who are now in IT. He trained them how to navigate those systems. And I think that also tells you a lot about how disposable these people are for a narcissist like Eligio. They're very disposable. Honestly, I think it may have been better. It is better that they are here in the United States, because they lose the appeal. Like Jim Jones, as we see here, his appeal, right? His appeal was to offer a new land, and that is what this particular cult leader offered his followers in the beginning: a new land. We're going to go in paradise, and we're going to watch the rest of the world. We're going to watch so-called Babylon, the United States, and all of these Western white led countries. We're going to watch them perish, and then we're going to come back and we're going to take over everything. But it all falls apart when you are in the same system that you claim to be separate from. I think that's why. Go ahead. Somebody had something to say.
But that's part of the delusion, and that's part of the fear mongering. They have to fear monger the people in the camp. That's how you keep them close to you. Think of any even normal relationship. They'll fearmonger you if you're in just a regular one-on-one relationship with a narcissist. They're very good at fearmongering you. They're very good at saying, you can't survive if you leave me. No man is going to want you if you have kids. You're too fat. You're too ugly. They put fear in you about the world outside of that house. What they do is close you in that little bubble, and then the reality is the delusion, and that's what it is at the end of the day. So a lot of these people are really there out of fear of the real world. They get out there and they like, oh my goodness, this is too much for me, and then they go back. They do fear the real world.
That's right.
And he disables them to a certain extent too.
That's right.
That's
right. Because he tells them, because imagine just sitting up there laying on the ground saying, I'm a Walmart employee, and all I could do is, if I was outside, I would just be Walmart. I wouldn't be able to. Ain't no man gonna want me. Nobody gonna ever want me. You're laying on the ground. He's telling you, say this. I'm a Walmart employee. You know what I'm saying? What the heck?
Right. Right.
So this is being programmed into your mind. You know, there was a lady named Alexis K. Tyler who used to talk about penis power, right? So now he's I'm not sure he's saying that Malia is the only one that he's really having main sex with, and she's the one that he has the strongest hold on between him and what's her name, Aya, I believe. Well, they'll hell all the women, I don't know, but he's using that, you know, whatever he's saying to her while she's doing it to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, who knows what kind of terrible things he's probably saying to her. You know, this is, you know, you're mine, and whatever, and this, that, the other. So he's programmed her all up in her body and her mind and her spirit, everything, to where it's a tight hold and grip that he'll have on her. You know.
I'm curious to know, you guys, what you think the end game is. The title of this particular live is "What Happens Next." What do you think the end game is for the first? Let me ask the first question. What do you think the end game is for the members?
I feel that everything has an expiration date. That I'm a true believer of that. Good or bad, things come to an end. That's universal law. The question is how and when, right? For most of the people in the room. So this is what I think. I think that at every point of a woman's life, she does have an awakening. These women are quite young. They're in their 20s. A lot of times, the awakening happens somewhere between the age of 30 and 40, where we say, even if we are in an oppressed relationship, we're like, the hell with this bullshit. I'm too good. I got to get out of here. This is too much, right? So with Natureboy, if his favorite leaves, you're talking about somebody like Tanisha, he's only as strong as sometimes his closest target. And he has a trauma bond with her. So even though he tells her she's not worth anything, she actually has just as much emotional bondage to him as he has to her. So at any given time, something may happen. He will push the envelope online, and then that will be enough to incriminate him. And then they will just have to scramble to figure out what they're going to do with their individual lives. But prior to that, it's just a matter of when these people start to drop off one after another. But as charismatic as he is, he'll just find new members. But that's why it's important sometimes for these guys to want to condition the women at a young age, because these are ages where he can groom them, right? So they can't stick around for a very, very long time. Yeah.
Hypothalamus gland is not quite developed, and therefore he could still have like a certain level of control. But like what I would say is the only scary thing about this whole thing is that like if they do when he's gone, but I'm not sure if he's gonna get arrested at some point or whether he gonna drive someone, because I've already seen Malia talking to herself. I'm not sure y'all see where she was putting stuff into the cabinet and was lying.
Girl, yes.
Talking to herself.
Yes.
He gonna drive one of them to suicide. I believe. I think when somebody kill themselves or like go completely bonkers, and it has to be a situation where the police have to get involved because the person that completely lost it and either off themselves or something like that, he then broke them completely, and then he realizes like the how far you can stretch the mind and keep beating down on people. Because I believe like you can break somebody. I mean, he broke him to a certain point, but if you completely break someone like the way he's doing, if he completely breaks them and they completely go insane, you know what I'm saying, to where there's no control, and then now you got the police involved, that I believe that's what's going to happen. Somebody is going to break in that camp.
You know what I just thought about, and I'm just changing the subject real quick. You know what I just only because I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm changing the subject. True, aka Aaron, was born and raised in Georgia. He's in his home. He's in his home state, y'all. His home state. I just thought about that. And it makes sense now why he is so why he seems to be harder on on True and why he's pressuring him more than the others at this point, because he's in a
Oh
situation where
yeah.
he can leave if he gets tired, or if feel, whatever, if something inside of him is released, he's home. And that's
Yeah,
why
he has
he's
all his
he's
memories. Like when
yes.
yeah.
And I just
Mhm.
realized he did a video, little, praising the fact that True will give up every and anything,
Oh,
kind of
he's no
reminding
longer isolated.
right, kind of
He
reminding him, you would
yeah.
do anything for me. You would let everything go. You wouldn't matter, pay attention to anybody, anyone. Nothing matters to you more than I matter to you. You would lay your life on the line for me. You would die for me. These are the things he was saying over and over and over. And
Yeah.
he
Yes, it
did
was.
this to Aya when they were in her hometown.
Mm-hmm.
He did this before to other members. It makes complete sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, their biggest fear is how much of a support system you have. That's why part of the conditioning is to separate you from your support system. So if you are close to some family members that you can travel to get to, yeah, they will treat you. They will devalue you. They will try to push you and see how far you will break so that you can leave. But part of that is the narcissist's own fear, because they like, well, what do I need you here for? I fear you would leave me and put me in a situation where I'm questioning myself as a person. So I might as well push you to the break where you do leave, right? Or you do break and at least come at me, and then I have a reason to put my hands on you as well. So they really put you in a tight spot. They put you in a spot to where you do question whether you should jump on them or leave. But he'll do that to any number of them at any given time. It's really no telling who he will jump on, and that's part of their fear as well. They don't know what they're going to wake up to. They really don't. It's probably the
Who
most
said they go to sleep? Do
yeah.
they even go to sleep? To
They
wake up?
rocking a
If
lot
they
of
go to sleep,
anxiety.
right?
They rocking a lot of anxiety in that camp. You can actually see it. You see them getting thinner and thinner. It's a lot of anxiety. A lot of them probably got a lot of high
With the
blood pressure and everything.
bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
bags under their eyes are growing.
I also, before
Substantial.
I play this video, I'm sorry, Marbeer, what'd you say?
I said the bags under their eyes is substantial.
Right. Oh, absolutely. You can see it in their faces. They're not getting any sleep. And it's, I think it's even some more severe than not getting any sleep. They're not getting any sleep, and they're not allowed to even close their eyes. They're not allowed to do much of anything, or to replenish their energy with food or water.
I think
Um
it's a lot of the standing
the
around. You know,
standing,
they
right. Yep. The
just
standing and then
listening,
cleaning and then listening.
the
Right.
cleaning, the berating. Just maybe we'll have to have a musical. You know what I'm saying, on the spot.
That's their
Yeah,
fun time.
But here's one
yeah,
thing I
that's the good
did
times.
Right. When that's something they can look back to and say, oh, well, we was
right,
dancing, having a
right,
good time when they leave.
Yeah,
Like, man, I
right.
don't dance to have a good time when I was a nature boy. Man, he used to play this music. We would dance. And that's where they go back. Like, man, I missed my dancing time and hanging out when he would act like a fool and put on these like little different characters and everything. I miss
but see,
that.
he
And then
uses that. But he uses that.
But
He
here's one
uses
thing. Here's
like
one thing.
comedy
Remember,
or laughter to break
more
that
beer,
horrible ice. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
more beer,
Sorry.
a roller coaster
Yeah,
ride.
more beer.
yeah, yeah,
One thing we are forgetting is that Nateri Janae, she told us
yeah.
that they don't get physically abused, remember?
Huh?
Well, mentally though, hell, you don't need physical. When you bring someone high up to the sky and euphoria, and everybody's laughing and joking and having a good time and dancing around, and then next thing you know, pow, what you do? Get on the ground, blah blah blah, bow down to me, blah blah blah. 5 minutes after you done experienced this
She
euphoria,
said,
so
Hold on, y'all.
but
Nateri
yeah, she
Janae,
said,
yep.
no, she said, well, she also said that she saw him handling Tanisha.
right? In Aya.
Right.
But she said other than those
So
incidences, they were not getting abused. If that is the
Hit
case,
the women, don't hit the men. He hit the women all the time. He don't beat on the men, but he hit the whoever's closest to him get. And then I'm sure that the trauma of hearing the woman getting her behind will make the other women traumatized by hearing a person screaming from getting beat up.
the issue I have with that comment is now we know that it's not true. She said there's no abuse going on, but now based on what we've seen in the public from watching, because he's gotten so emboldened, we now know that it's not true. He does hit people. He gets other people to hit each other. Um,
yeah.
so the comment that people are losing weight from stress alone, and one other thing she said was that they eat good. She said they eat good. Why do
Yeah.
they protect him so
Oh,
much?
it's called
Well,
coercion. Oh
you
well, I'm
you
sorry.
you you always they always protect. They always gonna protect. They always gonna protect him. I mean, when you think about okay, so part of the codependency is still protecting them at all costs, right? You're afraid of, end up having this infinity for them. It's like a soft space in your heart, and also the critical thought, because they become the words of your critical thought. When you've been in any relationship with a narcissist and they have conditioned you, when you do actually leave and you go out into the real world and you start to have these thoughts where you think to yourself and you're like alone in a quiet room and your thoughts are going off, you hear the words of the narcissist. It's no longer your voice anymore. So then some of the words that he used, part of his conditioning was, you're going to call a white man, you're going to get a black brother in trouble, these women do
That's
this
what I
to the black
wanted to
man,
say.
right? So
Yes.
you keep
Yes.
that in mind. You keep that in mind when you do go out there and you saying to yourself, should I call the authorities? I mean, it probably would be the best thing for me to do. I mean, I was in the same situation. It took me a while to call the authorities on my ex-husband, but shoot, he put, he just kept pushing the bar and sending enough threats. And I said, you know what, enough of all that. I heard all the words he used to use about getting him locked up. And I'm like, you know what, brother, you actually deserve it at this point. You actually deserve it. But it
Yeah.
takes a lot of strength to actually do that. You know, you almost feel a sense of guilt because they take over your brain and you hear them in your head.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so Angel, Angel, I'm sorry, Angel, I called you Angel. Angela says, is there anyone who lives in ATL in here? She keeps trying to call, but what's JFS? Anybody know? Anybody know what
JFS.
JFS is? She keeps
No, I
trying to
don't.
call JFS, but Google keeps giving her CPS number. I'm going to say this: stop calling. Don't call. Don't call anyone at this point. Don't call anyone. Um, y'all know why I say don't call anyone. But the reason, Angela,
That's
is
fine.
because the police have come directly to their place of residence and have not pressed any charges, arrested anyone, or even taken anyone out of the home. The food stamp issue, unfortunately, because we don't have proof of who is abusing or misusing the assistance, you're gonna be left with a dead end there as well. Because the people who are on the assistance can go to the assistance office and say that there's nothing wrong with them, and that they are okay and they do have a place of residence, regardless of whether it's true or not. Um, yeah. So I want
I
to
also
play
want
this.
to point out that in the state of Georgia, their food stamp department is not very good. They could care very less
Very
about who they give. They could care less about who they're giving their money to. It's a working man state, so it's really on the individual. If they're doing what they need to do to keep those food stamps, that's all they care about. But it's up to them if they lose those funds. A call won't even be effective, especially in the state of Georgia.
And they're about to get evicted, so they're about to probably head back to the tropics. So all the whatever anybody's trying to do right now is about to get dead ended because they're fixing to leave back out of the country. That's what I see.
Thank you for that,
Yeah.
set 12. All right, let me play this video, y'all. Oops, what am I doing? Oh, here we go.
The worst of the worst of the worst. And the children are innocent because they're just there with their parents and they die a horrible death because of their parents. Yeah. Jim Jones, a white man, he took a mostly black religious cult and had all those people killed. And so we see today cults are still on the rise and people are still joining cults. Well, what makes people join cults? An easy answer is that people who join cults are weak-minded. That's what people who say who don't know what they're talking about. People who join cults are weak-minded. But what they don't understand about joining a cult is when you join a cult, you have to have a strong mentality. Because once you join a cult, you are basically saying, I am going to give up every piece of faith and belief that had been handed down to me from my childhood. I'm going to rebel and buck against what mama and them told me, against what pastor and them taught me. I'm going to go against all of that to find my own religious truth. And if you think a weak-minded person can do that, then you don't understand the mentality of the cult mind. You see, the cult mind is a mind that says, I no longer accept orthodoxy. I no longer accept the way things have been. I no longer believe in rabbits laying eggs on Easter and fat white men in red suits who ride reindeers and bring boys and girls presents on Christmas. I no longer believe in the fantasies and make-believe and the Aesop's fables and the riddles and the hoodoo and the Dr. Seuss and the Mother Goose fairy tales that my religion has taught me. And so I'm going to leave that on the shelf and leave it behind. It takes a certain amount of strength to buck the religious tide of one's upbringing. So you can kick that ideal out of your head that people who join cults are weak-minded. It takes hella strength to walk away from convention. It takes hella strength to walk away from orthodoxy. It takes hella strength to walk away from what mama and them taught you. If you look at any cult and its membership, you will find within any cult doctors, lawyers, teachers, policemen, firemen, academicians. You will find within the cult people with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and PhDs. You will find architects and artisans and plumbers and electricians. It's kind of like this, people. When we were little kids, mom and them used to say, don't talk to strangers. And as children, we had this ideal in our heads and our brains that a stranger was a weird looking man with a long trench coat on. Be on the lookout for strangers because the strangers will molest you will tie you up and kidnap you. Boy, well, before we get into that, understand that most cults, you name the cult, the leader claims to have direct conversations with God Almighty. The leader claims to be speaking for the greatest power in the universe. The leader dubs himself Son of God or even God. The leader says that he has been sent. He's self-proclaimed. We saw that with the Nation of Islam. A white man, a Hawaiian man, a Middle Eastern man, a non-black man named Master Farad Muhammad came to Detroit in 1930 and convinced a little old ignorant black man named Elijah Poole that he was the embodiment of God Almighty, that he was Allah in flesh, Allah in the person. And this would qualify the Nation of Islam as a cult, because you got a figurehead named Master Farad Muhammad who claims to be God. And then they go on to semi-deify the next guy under him, Elijah Muhammad. He's semi-deified. We're told that he has Master Farad on speed dial. This is what the cults do. Most cults have a guy. There's sometimes it's a woman, but generally speaking, it's a man at the head of the cult. And so we get Natureboy. Natureboy has said he's everything from God to Christ to whatever. He's just one more lunatic. His time is now, but his time shall pass. For there is not one cult leader who has successfully done anything to move our people to true freedom and liberation. Elijah Muhammad couldn't do it. Yahweh ben Yahweh couldn't do it. Malachi Z. York couldn't do it. Jim Jones couldn't do it. Father Divine couldn't do it. Sweet Daddy Grace couldn't do it. The Bhagwan Sri Rashni couldn't do it. None of them could do it. And so they all have a season. They all have a short run where they in power and they have people following them. This is what we see with Natureboy, one of the most egregious cult leaders. I say egregious because he basically has women follow him and a bunch of sick, spineless men follow him. Natureboy / Three Gods cult is more of a sex cult. My cult was a murder-kill cult. Natureboy is about that sex thing. Having all the women that he wants, and I suspect he's having sex with some of the men. He now even has a transgender person that he's calling queen and stuff in his ranks. And by listening to his speech, it's quite evident that Natureboy is moving his cult toward all-out orgies without boundaries. He's touching men on the face. He's got men rubbing his back and rubbing his feet. He's taking men's money. Just touching the men on the face like they little chicks. He's grooming these men for sexual conquest. And we know already that Natureboy is bisexual. How do we know Natureboy is bisexual? Because Natureboy has been on pornography sites before he was Natureboy. I have personally went over and inspected and saw it for myself. I'm not telling you what I heard. If I could show you the videos on YouTube, I would show you the videos. But if you go over to a site called Pornhub.com, arguably the biggest porn site in the world, and if you search hard enough, if you search long enough, you will find an old video of Three God, aka Natureboy, on an examination table in a doctor's office, bucket naked, while allowing a fake white doctor to that we must blur the lines of sexuality. And so it's a foregone conclusion that this bisexual man is having sex with the men as well as the women. I said he has a sex cult. And you know he's a sex cult by pictures like this where he, Natureboy, Three God, has the women of his cult. You see their mouths are open. You see how their hands are. They are demonstrating to Natureboy how they perform fellatio, how they give sloppy toppy, how they give dome, how they give head, how they give oral sex, how they play battleship, where the man lays down and the woman blows him to smithereens. This is Natureboy's cult. He's all about the sex game, people. He's all about the sex game. And he's having a good time. Got the women in the back with holding up the three fingers. He's calling himself Three God. He's got the three on the side of his face. Oh, he's doing his thing right now. And it's all fun and games. Yes, it is. It's all fun and games. What Natureboy is doing is nothing new. It's nothing new. But if you want to understand who these cults are, because a lot of people are in cults who say they're not in cults. Every person in the Nation of Islam is in a cult. And their cult leader name is Louis Farrakhan. Every person.
Let me first say I don't know anything about the religions. Everything here, disclaimer. I'm focusing on Eligio Bishop. We're not here to debate all the other religions tonight. I'm sorry, but that is not here what we're here for tonight. We're here to talk about Eligio. Also, none of all the views here on the panel as well are not necessarily reflective of this channel. So have at it, you guys.
Can I say something about this whole like painting of the face thing though?
Sure.
Haven't y'all noticed Brother Polite when he get to a certain level, and I keep going back to this drugs thing, right? And I know there's people that do weed, you know, and they do fine. But why is it that people like Young Pharaoh, Brother Polite, and now Eligio, they end up getting these tattoos on their faces and painting around their eyes and all type of stuff. Like the same thing that like look at Young Pharaoh. He has a whole picture of I guess the ankh put on around his eyes. Then Young Pharaoh did the same thing, and now Natureboy doing the same thing. What do you think that's about? Like, why do you think? I don't know. I think that those plants, some of them, I mean, they have spirits off in them. You know what I'm saying? And given the wrong situation to get you to doing, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. It just seemed to me it's too much of a similarity in the whole painting of the eyes and the three and the whatever.
So Yeah, I think there is a correlation. What that correlation is, I don't know because I don't read whatever it is that they've been reading. I do believe Eligio just does it because everyone else does it, but I'm not sure why um, these other um, so-called woke people are doing it.
The same exact thing. So there's got to be some kind of connection to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but anyway, one thing I will say is he's 100% right about what he's saying about like this being a sex cult. The other thing is, I don't even believe that he's even getting any sexual gratification from any of the sex that he's doing and performing with anybody. I think that the sex is a matter of control. It's a means of control.
Yeah. Well, how do y'all feel about this? The guy speaking. How do y'all feel about him?
He made some good points. One in particular that he made is that he's right about people they're not, it's like they're not unintelligent people. It does take a level of intelligence sometimes to make a decision to kind of denounce your whole entire life of family conditioning, because even in family structures there's a sense of conditioning, right? You grow up and you're young and you have chores and you have things you can and cannot do. You get discipline, and then religion is a component even in your own home with a lot of us, right, in the Black community. And then you say, I'm going to none of that. I'm going to go out and find my own answers. And it does take some level of intelligence to do that, because you're going out to seek that answer. But what he can't account for, and he has not spoke of, is that just because you're intelligent, that doesn't mean you're not emotionally unintelligent. And that's usually the component of what is happening in a lot of these followers of these cult masters, whatever they call themselves or whatever. But they take advantage of that. You take people like Young Pharaoh and Natureboy and Polite. Really, what they are, street hustlers, and they seen what you call a niche for themselves, right? And they seen a opening in the spirit, the community, where people are looking for spirituality. And really, it's an easy niche to get into if you're a hustler, because people are not really doing their own enlightenment. People are not following their own truths. They're looking for a family. They're looking for a group of people because of their lack of emotional intelligence. And they leave one family that's probably broken, and the structure is not correct, or abandonment, neglect, abuse, and they say, I'm looking for another family. But that's part of their own void. And because they have a void, they think that if I go into this spirituality quest, I will find myself. But what a lot of people fail to understand is that the answers are in you. You don't really need to be a part of any really organized religion. I mean, I believe that, I'm part of a religion, but guess what? I believe I take that and I factor in spirituality, but I understand that I find the truth within myself. I look for my own source within my own structure. I don't have to attain that in someone else. And then people get caught up in the person who is saying, I have all the answers to spirituality. I have all the answers to God. Follow me and I will give you that answer. But what they're giving you is a gift, a wrapped empty box. And they keep moving the box around. You can never really get to open the box to the true answer of yourself. You actually get lost in these people, in these cults. And that is all due to emotional unintelligence. Because if you're smart enough and you say to yourself, this is who I am, these are my pet peeves, this is what I like and don't like, I'm not perfect, but I know me and I love me, you can't fall for anything. You can't fall for anything. Right?
I'm so glad you made that distinction. Absolutely. There is definitely a difference between emotional intelligence and intellect. People don't understand that, or knowledge, or the ability to absorb information. Those are so drastically different. And I think a person without emotional intelligence can be the smartest person in the room and still be manipulated. We've seen it many times before.
And another thing I want to bring to the table is that because I've been following them for a long time. I've just been watching them because it's just the whole thing has just been like the most weirdest thing to me. But I mean, well, let's just start with True. True was homeless. He was homeless, and he was also alcoholic, a rabid alcoholic. And he was in the military that he had got out, and so he's homeless in the military. Like got out the military and alcoholic, and he had like something where he had touched one of his like sisters or whatever he brought out in like the past, right? Then you have Aya, who was a prostitute at one point on Skid Row, right? And so I think that she left and like got on her car and followed him and went down there. So a lot of them people are running from. Well, they were in a position where things was not kind of working out. There were some people that was like I guess Velvet was in college. She saw him and she left college, but some of them were in dire straits and came from homelessness and everything, and he gave them a home, a place to live. You know what I'm saying? So not everybody was just on some like the spiritual awakening moment and and was this intelligent person that was a doctor or whatever. These people like probably were, struggling in life and don't have to pay no bills, don't have to do nothing. He takes care of them. You know what I'm saying? They probably had some come up on some money and gave it all to him, and then now we're in the situation they're in right now.
Let me tell you something. True, Aaron was homeless because he chose to be homeless. That man makes enough money where he could have been self-sufficient. There's something going on mentally with True, unfortunately, because it is him who is probably keeping Eligio from being homeless himself.
Yeah, and you also have to realize that they all, it's all part of the childhood wound. I say this all the time. I don't know how many times I'm gonna drive this baby home. A lot of them come from broken homes, right? So the part of what Eligio does is he uses the childhood wound as a manipulation tool against them. So he says, why are you here? Right? He does this whole almost like an interview process. Tell me your story. Tell me your broken story. Tell me about your mom and your dad and your broken family, and what did you do? What was your kinks? What was your perversions? Right? And then they speak this into existence, and then he says, I can heal you of that. But what he does instead is remind them of it every single day. And then he says, well, you're on your spiritual journey, so you're no longer part of that, right? And then they believe that every single day is another day for that spiritual journey that they never will be on. But it's part of that. It's all part of that indoctrination. I spoke about indoctrination before, which is the whole overall prospect of conditioning and grooming and all that indoctrination. But he needs to use your childhood wound against you. No narcissist is incapable of that. They all do it. I was in a relationship too where that happened to me, and every single time he found that I was getting stronger, he reminded me of my childhood wound. Okay, so that's what they do. They use it as a manipulation tool to bring you down a couple of notches, and you live in that childhood wound every single day. They also adopt it in the sense that he is their father, so he keeps them stagnated in their emotional dysfunction. Now they saying, you're my father. We're your babies, right? Yep. Because the void that they're missing due to their childhood wounds. Yep. I just want to bring that up.
Absolutely. I want to say this, and then I'm gonna read this question for the panel. Remember when he got humiliated in the video I was getting ready to show in the beginning? Remember when he got humiliated out, being out and getting kicked out of the restaurants and everything, and he just looked so small. He just looked so little, so infantile. You have this older, lighter skinned man telling him to calm down and trying to reassure him as if he was a toddler. You have people kicking him out of these spaces. You have other people looking at him like he's a buffoon or a fool. And when he got home, you could see as he pulled up into the driveway, his posture changed from slouching and looking like a miserable wimp to becoming big again. His posture got big again. His head rose up. And when he seen the males, his arms got really wide, and he said, "Oh, my babies, my babies." This man is searching for something. And he breaks them down so that they can stay with him, so that he doesn't have to face his reality. He puts them in this fantasy. He abuses them. He manipulates them. And he breaks them down so that he doesn't lose them. And the moment they can realize that, I truly believe, the moment they realize that he needs them to survive, and not only does he need them, but he needs their energy, their love, their undying loyalty, I think they will start to demand. And that is what Velvet and other people who decided to leave, that is what they realized. He owes them. He should be grateful for them. And since he's not, they will wake up. The question is from set 12. Would most of these people stay with Natureboy if he said he is going off of social media forever? How many of them are there to be a YouTube somebody? I'm going to give that question to More Beer if she's still here. Let me see. Yep, More Beer. I would like to hear what you had to say first.
About. Do I feel like they would be there?
More Beer?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me? Okay. Do I think they would? Yes, I think many of the newer people, I guess, I think it has a lot to do with the YouTube, or media sensation portion of it. But to speak on, what you guys were just saying about, why people are there and their conditions, personalities or whatever, I do feel like many of them are there to hide behind him, you know what I mean? And are kind of using it, you know what I'm saying, for their benefit. You spoke about Aya, this might be better than what she left, or I guess based on how she feels, you know what I'm saying, they feel. And on top of the just the mental manipulation that that he plays, you know what I mean, it's just another dynamic or just the depth of manipulation, that I think all of them have, to be honest. And they're brilliant as, somebody will call it, they have to be strong, you got to be smart. They think they're clever, you know what I'm saying? They think they're all in on it, which they are. They're all in on it, in some form of fashion, you know what I'm saying? Because in a court of law, that would be, what is it, collusion or some conspiracy.
Right. Genesis, how about you? What do you think?
Part of me wonders if they all think that they're just recording a show and he's just performing in front of the camera for the show. The other part of me thinks that they really believe all this, and that in reality, like, they really worship this man, and no matter what he does, they're going to be there, because it's easier to live there. I mean, you don't have to pay no rent. All they got to do is hear his mouth all day long, and they're used to doing that and bowing down or whatever. So really, like, I mean, if he's programmed in their mind that they can't live without him, I don't think it matters whether it's on camera or off camera. I believe that they're gonna feel it. They can't live without him. Period. They're gonna feel, because I mean, hell, if you get a person to humiliate themselves in front of millions of people and get down on the ground and say that I'm a Walmart hoe and this, that, the other, whatever he's got them saying, then what difference do it make if it's on camera or not? You know what I'm saying?
Am I naive to believe or to think that I don't even realize that? I don't think they realize the scope of how far reached this is, or them on social media. I don't think they understand just how many people are watching, because they're not allowed to watch anything outside of him. He doesn't allow it, because they would become deprogrammed. So or they start recognizing and seeing things. So I truly don't think they really understand just how many people are watching them.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like,
Remember, we are nothing but their demons. We are nothing but reflections of their lower selves. So they can't, once they in there and they become souped up and brainwashed, um their outlook on who is watching them has changed.
yeah, like, and he used to play the videos. Like, I remember at some point, they used to play the, the people with concerns, videos. And but when it gets good, when it's a message there, he'll talk over it. You know what I mean? And say, look at them, the blah 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 blah. Uh, what is it called when you, not deception, but
They're like they're
diversion.
a parasite, or they're
Cause a
a
diversion.
disease or whatever.
Yeah, cause a diversion. So you can't, so they can't get the message. So the shit can't be broken. Spell can't be broken. But that's the thing about them going out. You know what I mean? For me, it's like he has he has this hold on them. That's why you mentioned it when they were practicing before they went out to the flea
Oh
market or
yeah.
whatever it's called. You know, just to put on that show. You know,
Oh yeah, he's preparing them. He knows that they're going to be spending more and more time around other people outside of that little bubble that they've created, and he's in fear. And I think a lot of what you're seeing is him reassuring himself that they are programmed to the point where if they are around other people, they won't begin to um kind of observe themselves from an outsider's perspective, because if they did, they realize how strange they are.
yeah.
Ivy, what do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that point. When you break free from the spell of these type of conditionings, it does shine a light on just how disillusioned you were. You say, dang, I really was involved in this whole craziness. So yes, part of the merging technique of the narcissist is to have them believe a narrative. And like you said about we all reflection of their lower self. This is part of the actual knowledge that they attain to, right? I think that's the only thing that they feel is the knowledge. Everyone is part of their lower self, and they are opposite of that. So that's part of that splitting. So he made them feel like they're better than everybody else. But the way I treat you is how I treat you. What the narcissist does is he's able to see everyone else clearly but himself. So he's really the only delusion to himself. So that's why he's able to use that real cold empathy to read people and then manipulate them to move the way he wants them to move. And he can do that on a grander scale every single time. I kind of tell people to be reminded of how far the narcissist can go in these type of things. Think of the 44th president, right? Think of how what he did, right? He had a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
believe in his lies, right? So it could get bigger and bigger. And so a lot of people start to say how a group of people are so delusional over what one man say. But it's very, very possible, right? Because he feeds that fear mongering. He says to them, we are better than this. They're worse than us. We're great. We're on a mission, right? and believe in the mission, whatever that mission is. And they're emotionally unintelligent. So what their component is, what they are in that group is, tell me how to please you, master, and I will do it. So it doesn't really matter how far he moves the bar. They're going to walk to it every single time. And that's how that works. That's why it really is nothing we can really do to stop this. They do it to themselves, and every cult is kind of like they unravel themselves in a sense. Like I said, everything comes to an end at some point or another. Some criminal activity happens, someone dies, someone actually comes out and say, okay, enough is enough. I want to tell my story. So they have to unravel themselves within. There's really absolutely nothing people can actually do. So these people actually believe in the knowledge, but it's not until they break free and go to therapy where they realized really how far in they were in.
That's right. Let me say real quick, Linus brought up a good point. Welcome, Linus. Hi. I have a book. It's called 15 Steps to Finding Love, A Woman's Journey. Linus, did you purchase the book? I mean, if you did, thank you. Yes, I have a book, 15 Steps to Finding Love, A Woman's Journey. I will repeat that. 15 Steps to Finding Love, A Woman's Journey. I wrote the book. Thank you to Eligio Bishop and his foolishness and the women. As I watched this process take place, I also, look around my community and I see women struggling every day to get out of toxic relationships, to get away. And so I created a book to try and of steps to try and help women get through these things. One of the chapters is to help build self-identity with and it's called self-development, or and so what we need to do is, as women, is we can't start looking outside of ourselves for answers to who we are. That's foolish. And when you do that, you're going to end up with a manipulator every single time. If you look outside of yourself for answers to who you are. I talk about in the book building circles of support. Having a support system is so important because they can be the voice of reason. When you find somebody like a Natureboy who tells you, I am God, I am your higher self, you need to worship your higher self, and that's me. Who tries to get you with these pseudosciences, who takes information and feeds it to you in a way that you believe he is the originator of that information. You need to talk to other people about it so they can say, he ain't telling you nothing, girl. Look, this right here, this information been out. You have to have those circles of support. You have to have people, number one, who can say, who give you, who, even if it's not your family. Everybody has a story of where they come from, and they might, and some more than others have stories of pain in the beginning of their lives. But you have to find people who will support you without you giving up yourself and so much of yourself. So I hope you guys take a look, take a read of the book, purchase it. It's on Amazon. You can purchase it from me directly. Just let me know if that's something you're interested in. Did anybody want to? Oops, let me go up.
Yeah, I want to say that I want to implore everybody to get the book. It is a great book. I purchased it myself, and I simply love how you leave room to put your own journal, your own thoughts, and process within those steps. I want to tell people that I don't want to give too much away for the book, but that was really a great what I loved the most about the book. So I do think everybody should jump out on that and get the book. And you made a beautiful point about self-identity. When I got out of my 15-year oppressed relationship, I want people to know that it was a matter of me sitting to myself one day and saying, I know what I want. I know how I want to be treated. I know the type of love that I want in my life. I know how I want to raise my children, right? And when I develop those answers within myself. It was just a matter of time before I left. I left within no time. I left with the clothes on my back. I tell people that story all the time. I never turned back. So all of that is wrapped up in self-identity. All of that is asking yourself what it is that I want out of this life, right? What it is that who am I as a person, and what do I want love to be to me? What is love to me, right? And then your answer will come.
That's right. That's right. We have to stop searching outside of ourselves. And that's the whole point of these lives. That's the whole point. I try to make that the point of my lives, is stop searching outside of yourself. You can get assistance. Of course. You can build your support. You can go outside to gain more information, to see what fits you, but you have to maintain the core of you. And I say this because anybody who's listening, maybe you might need to share this video with somebody. Maybe you might need to share this information with someone. Please, 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 please. If you see someone who might, and they have to be receptive, I that part I understand. If you see someone who might need an extra shoulder to cry on, an extra hand, be that for them. Be that for them. You might save them from meeting someone who is going to drain them of their existence. And so that's what I wanted to say about that situation. We have been on here for 2 hours, y'all. Thank you for hanging in there with me.
And I want to say one quick thing before you
Yes,
go.
I'm not hanging up. I'm just saying thank you everyone for hanging in there for 2 hours. Go ahead, Genesis.
Listen, so we're in the age of information, and lately there has been more and more people popping up, like your Kevin Samuels and these male podcasts that are like these hating. They have this hatred towards Black women, and they promote it so heavily, and they promote narcissism. They promote like that, a strong woman is like, we don't want, it don't matter what nobody gives a fuck about that you didn't accomplish nothing, you went to school, and they want to diminish uh women and make them down here because they want to be up here. And so it's going to be more, I believe, that this whole movement of the Kevin Samuels kind of thing, is going to force more people, more men, to be more like a nature boy. You know what I'm saying? So we have to also protect our children and our kids so that these people that are raising their sons to be like this, that they don't fall prey to the same kind of like narcissistic thought pattern.
That's right.
Because yeah. So hold on.
No, keep going, mamas. I'm agreeing.
I'm sorry, my daughter's like, mommy, hold on. I gotta go. I can't hear. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, more beer.
What? What's that?
How are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Um, I don't know.
Are you tired? Are you exhausted? What do you want to see happen? Are you unplugging, or are you following along? What would you like to see? I know that's a lot of questions. You can answer whichever one you want.
Okay. I would like to see him be charged with harassment and coercion and uh, assault. And we can start there. That's what I like. Um, oh, right. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about just the children. Okay. They are the world. And them having people, to lean on or to speak with, to have a talking board, a board to talk about these new age ideas. You know what I mean? Um, and that's kind of the thing, with them. Well, with the girls and the guys, it's like many of them they are looking for something. You know what I'm saying? They're looking for guidance and in certain ways, and he provides something that looks like that. It looks like it. But because they don't have a they don't have experience of anything else. The girls or the ladies, those young women, they got there at like 20, 21. Like, you don't have a point of reference, to say, oh, this is just a yucky parasite dude. You know what I mean? Um, and this is costing me way more, you know what I'm saying, than I'm receiving. Um, yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. So when we speak about, everything has an end, everything has a beginning, everything has an end. Yeah, it is gonna take, them to age and, hopefully want to see something else. You know what I'm saying? Want see that this has gone nowhere, that, you know, even though he has given this so much depth as far as, oh no, I'm the Jesus. Oh no, it's a, documentary. Oh no, it's a, what's the third, it has so many dimensions and they are having to jump through hoops there. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that, that will at least get some more people rolling off the ship. But unfortunately, it looks, he can make it look fun. You know what I'm saying? He has a gift, of gab, gift of gab, you know, and
More beer. Let me just say, I'm so glad that he's getting out of shape and he's starting to really look bad. His hair loss and everything. I'm just so thankful
girl,
because he was pulling them in. He was pulling them in with the looks and the sex appeal that people saw, um, and the promise of, the setting behind him. I'm just so glad that he is, first of all, in the United States, back in the United States, and not only back in the United States, but is getting washed up and raggedy, because that was how he got a lot of them.
Well, he was raggedy when he was in Costa Rica, looking
Oh, he
raggedy.
looked busted, but guess what? He was young. He was youthful looking. You get what I'm saying? So if you look at the pictures of him when he was when they were the Ethereans, if you look at the pictures when he first started, when he was with Velvet in the tropics, his body, obviously he might have been, who knows what he did to get that body, taking those enhancers and everything else. But it was more appealing to women. He walking around with, he had his butt, out in the water at one point, taking pictures with his completely naked in the water, and women, if you look in his comments, they were going crazy.
but
Let him take off
trust,
his,
it's
let
all
him try to be
filtered.
butt naked now.
It's all
I
filtered.
wanna,
It's
I
all
wanna say this.
filtered.
Yeah, and he got people that work for him that's doing all kind of Photoshop and all type of stuff. But what I want to do is say this. I
Yes.
want everybody on this live. If you have any children, I want you to teach them this thing. Now, I practice, Yoruba tradition, Ifa, and one of the apatakeys in Ifa, it tells you to beware of time wasters, right? And what you
Mm,
see with this whole nature boy thing is these people that are wasting their time.
Oh, yes.
They have their youth and When they finally wake up, because I believe there's going to be a day when they wake up, they're going to look back and look at all the time that they wasted, all their time that they could have been procreating and having love and all this other stuff. And they're going to look back and say, damn, look at how much time I wasted. And then this is what people even do in relationships, even with, it's like the whole Kevin Samuels movie, like, what people, women, this, that, the other, high value man, and this, that, the other, right? It's all about time. We only have a certain amount of time on this earth, right? And either you spend that time doing something of value or you spend your time doing some bullshit, following a person that is going to waste your time. And I implore everybody, because I gotta go, but I implore everybody to teach their children or teach even their loved ones, like, listen, if you're in anything that's wasting your time, because you only got a certain amount of time, you're not gonna get more time. And your time might even be short. You know what I'm saying? But time, you can get money and everything and you make it again. But you can't get that time back. And that is what everybody is doing in this situation, is they're wasting their time. They're wasting their youth. They're wasting their prime of their life. They're in their prime. And he's getting them at their prime and wasting their time.
Okay, that's when he'll say, I am prime, prime, prime time. I am prime time. Yo, he's twisted.
That's crazy.
Thank you guys so much. Oh man, always good, a wonderful night when I get discussions are going both on the panel and in the chat. So thank you all. We closing out, y'all. I had one more video. I'm pooped out. So I mean, not video, article. I'm pooped out. So we'll reconvene. But thank you all so much. For those who were a little nervous or weren't able to be in the chat, thank you for viewing this live and staying. Thank you, my panel, Ivy Revine. Please check her out. She has a YouTube channel. She also has a website. If you want to drop that information in the comments, Ivy, before we head out. More Beer, please go to her channel. She has awesome music that I'm going to start playing on my lives, like when I come in, my like as an intro, I guess, to get people coming in. So please subscribe to her. She has really good music. And Genesis, a newcomer on the panel. Thank you. That was your
I'm a software engineer, you guys. If you're working a website, hit me up. And I do music too. I used to be a DJ. And
Genesis, can you get your information? Because I'm working on my website and it's just it's not working.
Well, monica.lockett@gmail.com. monica.lockett@gmail.
Wait, say that for me one more time. Say that for me one more time.
Monica, monica.lockett@gmail.com. If you need a website, anything, just hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That's what's up. Appreciate that.
There we go, y'all. There we go. And if you have a channel like Sarada in the chat, share it for us, please. And I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna play, do something so y'all can talk in the chat for a few more minutes before you guys head out. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you, panel. Till next time.
Good night, everybody.
Later,
good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
possible for me. No way, no way. You made it possible for me. The blizzard arrived. The business began. And was this regret? The way to take it, oh God, yeah. Take your blizzard away. So magical, I know you got the power. 'Cause the blizzards began. Come take it away from me. All night and all day, no blue sky, no way. Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it possible for me? No way, no way. It is possible for me. Give it a ride. Just think that I thought you was crazy, but I see now. Optimistic, don't get me nowhere, but nowhere, possible for me. Optimism gets me nothing but gray down, sky return. But we don't got a shovel.